It was a sound he knew all too well. Not the crack of a rifle or the percussive thump of a distant IED, but the sharp, accusing beep of a metal detector. Sergeant Marcus Thorne, 3 months out of uniform and a lifetime into dealing with the aftermath of a Fallujah roadside bomb, sighed. He tapped his cane on the polished floor. It was always a knee brace. Stay tuned, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to Black Truth Edition on YouTube for social justice stories like this. Let's get into it. The date was November 12th, Charlotte Douglas International Airport. A place of transition, of hellos and goodbyes. Now just an obstacle course for a man with a busted knee and a duffel bag containing his entire civilian life. He wore the unofficial uniform of the recently discharged. Jeans, a black hoodie, a cap that whispered his service to those who knew to look. To everyone else, he was just a big guy, maybe a little intimidating, moving with a slow, deliberate gait. He was directed to the secondary screening area, a space designed for scrutiny. And that's where he met Avis Taggart. Taggart was a security guard, a man for whom the small authority of a badge had hardened into a permanent veneer of suspicion. He saw a profile, a black man in a hoodie, a tired face, a cane that could, in his mind, be a prop. He did not see the Purple Heart. He did not see the 3 tours. He saw a potential problem to be managed. The pat-down was standard, but the atmosphere was cold. When Taggart's hands found a heavy, cylindrical object in the duffel bag, wrapped carefully in a sock, the temperature dropped further. It was a unit pride item, solid brass, engraved with the names of the fallen, topped with a deactivated rifle cartridge. To Marcus, it was a sacred relic. To Taggart, it was a blunt instrument. A debate ensued. Calm explanations from Marcus. Mounting skepticism from Taggart. The situation escalated when Marcus, trying to de-escalate, reached for his phone to show the TSA regulations. It was a wrong move, a perceived challenge. Taggart's hand shot out, slapping the phone from Marcus's grasp. It clattered against the floor, the sound echoing in the sudden silence. That's when the discipline instilled in Marcus Thorne began to strain against a rising tide of raw indignation. His voice hardened. "What the hell is your problem?" Taggart's response was a bark. "My problem is you not complying. You're done. You're not flying today." And then it happened. As Marcus, his balance already compromised, bent to retrieve his shattered phone, Avis Taggart placed both hands on his chest and shoved. It wasn't a nudge. It was a hard, two-handed thrust, fueled by frustration and a toxic sense of power. Sergeant Marcus Thorne, a man who had faced down death in the desert, was knocked off his feet. His cane skittered away. He landed hard on his injured side. A grunt of shock and pain punched from his lungs. The bustling terminal fell into a stunned hush. He lay there for a second, the cold floor against his cheek, a humiliation more profound than any battlefield fear. Then, slowly, painfully, he pushed himself up. He retrieved his cane. He looked Taggart dead in the eye, his own gaze now flat and cold as a river stone. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life," he said, his voice quiet, but carrying an unmistakable finality. He collected his things. He did not yell. He did not cause a scene. He simply turned and walked away, a solitary figure absorbing a public shame. But he wasn't leaving. He was falling back to regroup. He found an empty gate, sat down, and with trembling hands, pulled out his cracked phone. He opened a single app, a messaging group for his old unit, callsign Spartan 4-7. The group was named the Iron Bells. He typed a message that was less a call for help and more a battlefield alert. Asterisk Spartan 4-7. This is Thorne. Code Black. At CLT. A security guard just assaulted me. Knocked me down. I need my brothers. Asterisk. A code Black. Their term for a brother in dire, immediate need. A signal from a war they thought they'd left behind. And the digital cavalry answered. Immediately. Asterisk on my way. 20 minutes out. Davis. Asterisk. Asterisk, wheels up now. Don't move, Sergeant. Rodriguez. Asterisk. Asterisk, I'm in the terminal. Where are you? Jenkins. Asterisk. They came, not in Humvees, but in Ubers and pickup trucks. Not with rifles, but with a cold, focused fury. First was Corporal Liam Davis, a mountain of a man whose calm exterior had a ferocious loyalty. He found Marcus, saw the pain in his eyes, and his own face set into a grim mask. Then came Specialist Ava Rodriguez, sharp and analytical, a law student whose mind was her weapon. She didn't offer comfort. She demanded facts, names, witnesses. Sergeant Jake Jenkins, the former medic, arrived next, his hands instinctively checking Marcus's knee, his medic's mind already cataloging the injury. One by one, they materialized from the crowd, a dozen men and women, from all walks of civilian life, bound by an unbreakable chain of shared sand and fire. They formed a silent, solid perimeter around Marcus, a human fortification. Their response was not one of blind rage, but of tactical precision. They would not confront Taggart. They would isolate and overwhelm him with truth. Ava Rodriguez, phone recording, politely approached Taggart and asked for his name and badge number. The man who had been so bold moments before now stammered, pale and cornered. Liam Davis and Jake Jenkins fanned out a quiet reconnaissance mission. They found the witnesses. The elderly couple who saw the whole thing. The college student who, fortuitously, had captured the entire incident on her phone. "It didn't seem right," she whispered, handing over the digital evidence. The pressure on Avis Taggart became a physical force. He could feel the weight of their collective gaze, the silent accusation of the gathered veterans. When the airport police supervisor, Captain Evans, arrived, she took in the scene, the stoic unit, the injured veteran, the damning video, and understood instantly. She pulled Taggart aside. His story crumbled in seconds. The video was incontrovertible. Captain Evans turned to Marcus and offered a formal, profound apology. Avis Taggart was relieved of duty on the spot, his career over, criminal charges looming. But for Spartan 4 to 7, the mission wasn't complete. Justice had been served, but honor had not yet been restored. As Taggart was led away, the unit shifted formation. They created two lines, a corridor for Marcus to walk through, a guard of honor. They stood at a modified parade rest, back straight, faces filled with a solemn pride. As Marcus walked through them, leaning on his cane, a few reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder. A simple, powerful transfer of strength. Passengers in the gate area, who had watched the entire drama unfold, began to rise. One by one, then all at once, a slow clap started, building into a thunderous, rolling wave of applause that filled the concourse. A standing ovation for a soldier who had been shamed, and for the brothers and sisters who refused to let that shame stand. Marcus Thorne boarded his plane, his head held high. In the aftermath, Avis Taggart was fired, pled guilty to assault, and became a local pariah, his life irrevocably broken by a single, reckless act of prejudice. The airport, scarred by the scandal, instituted sweeping new training programs developed with veterans groups. The story of the push on the tarmac is a crime story, but the real crime was a failure of vision, the failure to see the hero behind the hoodie, the sacrifice behind the cane. The response from his unit was a lesson in loyalty. It was a demonstration that the bonds of brotherhood, forged in the crucible of combat, form a network that never truly disbands. It lies dormant, a silent, standing army, always ready to answer the call when one of their own is under fire. They prove that the most powerful weapon a soldier has is not a rifle, but the unwavering man or woman standing beside them. Subscribe for more intense social justice stories and real-world inspired dramas. Like, comment, and share to amplify the fight against racial profiling. Hit the bell for update. New stories added weekly.